Get your popcorn, get your whiskey, get whatever it is you need to calm down after hearing what comes out of Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's mouth about housing and who should pay for it. Oh, happy day, Team Healthy Republic. We are talking about housing evictions and how AOC thinks you should be paying for everyone's homes. Does that anger you?
We're here at the Capitol because we're pretty mad. And we're pretty pissed off.
Looks like you'll be competing with AOC and her homegirl, Cori Bush, on the hierarchy of being mad. But we'll get to that in a moment. First, make sure you hit the subscribe button somewhere on your screen so that you don't miss us. And if you do miss us, just subscribe to the Healthy Republic channel on YouTube because that hasn't been censored yet. And I do mean yet. Plus, I'm doing bonus content over there. On this video, though, please hit the share button to share with your friends and enemies so that we can fight the power. And now, let's get to it with today's question. Is housing a human right? I'm looking for an open discussion in the comments section, and make sure you explain your answer. We know AOC sure seems to think you, me, and your brother from another mother should be paying for housing for everyone because she and Representative Cori Bush, a newer squad member, are taking to the Capitol steps to protest the end of the moratorium on housing evictions that were put into place by the Centers for Disease Control, CDC. The same CDC that says mask on, mask off. 2 masks on, 1 mask off. Now get the vaccine. Now put your mask back on. The CDC put the moratorium on evictions during the pandemic, and AOC and her ilk want this extended forever and for always. They think housing is a right, and that if you don't have the money to pay for your rent, well then the federal government should give it to you regardless of the choices you've made. Here's the political theater, and where I take issue on this entire thing. Let's listen to what AOC and Bush say on the steps of the Capitol about their protest.
Everyone out here, if you are lucky enough to be fully employed at a job that pays you a dignified living wage, you work Monday to Friday, right? Last I heard, when you have a job that's full-time, you work Monday to Friday, right? Or, you know, if you're a nurse, you at least are working full-time when you're paid a full-time job, right?
Exactly.
Monday through Friday, Tuesday to Saturday, whatever that is.
She has no clue how diverse work schedules are. And it's pretty insulting to bring up nurses specifically who didn't bitch, moan, or make a peep during the pandemic while they had to work the front lines and actually risk their lives, unlike the bravery AOC claims on Instagram and Twitter. And the fact that her argument is that jobs aren't out there so people can make money to pay for things, like their rent, is absurd. Businesses can't find people willing to work because the AOCs of the country incentivize them to stay home. And then they keep incentivizing them. It's why they are fighting so hard to halt the eviction moratorium expiration. Give the people money from the federal government to not work. Give the people money from the federal government to pay for their rent. Give, or take. But this is AOC, the epitome of everything wrong with socialism. She wants socialism, but still loves that dollar sign in the form of capitalism. Here's AOC with her $59,000 Tesla. Here's AOC with her $3,500 outfit. Your eyes do not deceive you. That is in fact an iPhone in AOC's hand, shining its $1,000 flashlight for all to see while fighting this injustice of housing. AOC and company are so brave to leave their luxury apartments. Yes, plural, apartments, to sleep on the steps of the Capitol. So, of course, in the morning, they deserve their Starbucks.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. If you're up and on this live, you're out here with the early birds, getting the worms of extending eviction moratoriums.
Yeah. Don't forget that it is this woman who wants to get rid of funding for police and who also has private security, because that's how it is. Do as I say, not as I do. Now this is where it starts to get juicy. AOC took a break from her Capitol step life to go on CNN's State of the Union on Sunday to explain about this housing eviction moratorium expiring. Before showing a clip from that interview, I'll take this moment to express how much I do love when the left eats its own, because as you'll see, AOC proceeded to call out Nancy and the gang of conservative Democrats, as well as the White House.
The House and House leadership had the opportunity to vote to extend the moratorium, and there were many, and there was frankly a handful of conservative Democrats in the House that threatened to get on planes rather than hold this vote.
Wait a tick. I think I've heard this one before. Get on planes rather than hold this vote. Like getting on a plane to leave the state of Texas to avoid a vote on voting laws. And then those same people proceed to get COVID because who needs masks when you are fighting for justice? Those people are dum-dums. Those same people who avoided their obligation to the taxpayers of the state of Texas then demanded care packages to Washington, D.C. Care packages with Dr. Pepper, salsa, hard candy, and hairspray. AOC better not go around them. She needs to be protected.
Oh, Corey had to run to a hit.
Yes, mask up for the photo. Can't let optics get in the way. But back to AOC and her point.
And we have to really just call a spade a spade. We cannot, in good faith, blame the Republican Party when House Democrats have a majority. Now, there is something to be said for the fact that this court order came down on the White House a month ago, and the White House waited until the day before the House adjourned to release a statement asking on Congress to extend the moratorium.
I'll give AOC credit for calling out her party and the Biden administration for wanting to get something done, whether or not I agree with the outcome. It is not a healthy fiduciary relationship between Congress and the taxpayers. The fact that they get another 7 weeks off right now is insanity, just in general. But that does not make AOC's cries for free housing legitimate. The inroads fighting shines through on this one. Now try to follow along. AOC says the leadership, aka Nancy Pelosi, should have done something. Pelosi then blames Republicans, because always and forever, and then says it's the Senate's fault. She then passes the buck on to the White House. The White House releases a statement saying because of the Supreme Court's ruling, the Congress must take action. This is how the sausage is made, team. There are two things you don't want to see how they're made: laws and sausages. Now here's the point. Those on the left want the executive branch to do everything. They cede all power over to the second branch of the government. They make up the first, but they're giving it to the second because they want authoritarian control. The federal government, specifically the executive branch, is their daddy. As sexist as I'm sure they're going to take that. They want their daddy Warbucks, but not the actual character of Daddy Warbucks because he's a he who is white, rich, from the military, and who believes in pulling yourself up by your bootstraps.
You know, this idea and this metaphor of a bootstrap started off as a joke because it's a physical impossibility to lift yourself up by a bootstrap, by your shoelaces. It's physically impossible. The whole thing is a joke.
And AOC continues Nancy's same ploy of saying that the White House needs to take action.
The president has the authority to direct the CDC to extend the moratorium. So call him at 202-456-1111.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing, is that we cannot afford to pass the buck on this. The White House has the authority.
Because they all demonstrate their subservience to the demands of AOC, the person or group actually running things at the White House, because we know it's not Joe Biden, decided to lick her stilettos. And AOC cheered as the Biden administration announced a planned limited eviction moratorium, which will be determined by Delta variant COVID cases per county across the nation. So naturally, AOC and her homegirl had to praise themselves, claiming that their movement moved mountains. Because they think of themselves as gods. The protest on the Capitol steps was a scam. An effective scam at that, because AOC got what she wanted, and you got screwed with your pants on. So nothing new to see here. Please help us by sharing this video and let me know in the comments your thoughts on this whole debacle. Until next time, stay healthy, America.